Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Dear kids of class 11, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. How are you, my dear kids? I hope you all are fine. I welcome you all to my online class today. This online class will be helpful to you for continuing your lesson because you know very well due to corona you cannot attend your regular classes long time. First of all, let me introduce myself. Yes, I am Mohammad Moinuddin Khan, Assistant Professor of Botany, Department of Biology, your today's teacher. At the beginning of my today's class, you have to know what is coronavirus and what happens if you get coronavirus. Let's see the video clips about corona disease.
This is SARS-CoV-2. It belongs to the family of coronaviruses named for the crown-like spikes on their surfaces. SARS-CoV-2 can cause COVID-19, a contagious viral infection that attacks primarily your throat and lungs. What actually happens in your body when you contract the coronavirus? What exactly causes your body to develop pneumonia? And how would a vaccine work? The coronavirus must infect living cells in order to reproduce. Let's have a closer look. Inside the virus, genetic material contains the information to make more copies of itself. A protein shell provides a hard protective enclosure for the genetic material as the virus travels between the people it infects. An outer envelope allows the virus to infect cells by merging with the cell's outer membrane. Projecting from the envelope are spikes of protein molecules. Both a typical influenza virus and the new coronavirus use their spikes like a key to get inside a cell in your body, where it takes over the cell's internal machinery, repurposing it to build the components of new viruses. When an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes, droplets carrying the virus may land in your mouth or nose and then move into your lungs. Once inside your body, the virus comes in contact with cells in your throat, nose, or lungs. One spike on the virus inserts into a receptor molecule on your healthy cell membrane, like a key in a lock. This action allows the virus to get inside your cell. A typical flu virus would travel inside a sac made from your cell membrane to your cell's nucleus that houses all its genetic material. The coronavirus, on the other hand, doesn't need to enter the host cell nucleus. It can directly access parts of the host cell called ribosomes. Ribosomes use genetic information from the virus to make viral proteins, such as the spikes on the virus's surface. A packaging structure in your cell then carries the spikes in vesicles, which merge with your cell's outer layer, the cell membrane. All the parts needed to create a new virus gather just beneath your cell's membrane. Then, a new virus begins to bud off from the cell's membrane. Now, with the virus spreading in your body, how can you develop pneumonia symptoms? For this, we'll have to look into your lungs. Each lung has separate sections called lobes. Normally, as you breathe, air moves freely through your trachea or windpipe, then through large tubes called bronchi, through smaller tubes called bronchioles, and finally into tiny sacs called alveoli. Your airways and alveoli are flexible and springy. When you breathe in, each air sac inflates like a small balloon. And when you exhale, the sacs deflate. Small blood vessels called capillaries surround your alveoli. Oxygen from the air you breathe passes into your capillaries, and then carbon dioxide from your body passes out of your capillaries into your alveoli so that your lungs can get rid of it when you exhale. Your airways catch most germs in the mucus that lines your trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles. In a healthy body, hair-like cilia lining the tubes constantly push the mucus and germs out of your airways, where you might expel them by coughing. Normally, cells of your immune system attack viruses and germs that make it past your mucus and cilia and enter your alveoli. However, if if your immune system is weakened, like in the case of a coronavirus infection, the virus can overwhelm your immune cells, and your bronchioles and alveoli become inflamed as your immune system attacks the multiplying viruses. The inflammation can cause your alveoli to fill with fluid, making it difficult for your body to get the oxygen it needs. You could develop lobar pneumonia, where one lobe of your lungs is affected, or you could have bronchopneumonia that affects many areas of both lungs. Pneumonia may cause difficulty breathing, chest pain, coughing, fever and chills, confusion, headache, muscle pain, and fatigue. It can also lead to more serious complications. Respiratory failure occurs when your breathing becomes so difficult that you need a machine called a ventilator to help you breathe. These are the machines that save lives and that medical device companies currently ramp up production for. Whether you would develop these symptoms depends on a lot of factors, such as your age and whether you already have an existing condition. While this all sounds scary, the push to develop a coronavirus vaccine is moving at high speed. Studies of other coronaviruses led most researchers to assume that people who have recovered from a SARS-CoV-2 infection could be protected from reinfection for a period of time. But that assumption needs to be backed by empirical evidence, and some studies suggest otherwise. There are several different approaches for a potential vaccine against the coronavirus. The basic idea is that you would get a shot that contains faint versions of the virus. The vaccine would expose your body to a version of the virus that is too weak to cause infection, but just strong enough to stimulate an immune response. Within a few weeks, cells in your immune system would make markers called antibodies, which would be specific for only the coronavirus, or specifically its spike protein. Antibodies then attach to the virus and prevent it from attaching to your cells. Your immune system then responds to signals from the antibodies by consuming and destroying the clumps of viruses. If you then catch the real virus at a later stage, your body would recognize it and destroy it. In other words, your immune system is now primed. Collecting evidence on whether this will be possible, safe, and effective is part of what's taking researchers so long to develop a vaccine. It's a race against time to develop a vaccine amid a pandemic. Each step in vaccine development usually takes months, if not years. An Ebola vaccine broke records by being ready in 5 years. The hope here is to develop one for the new coronavirus in a record-breaking 12 to 18 months. While all of this will take time, stay home if you can to protect the most vulnerable. And don't forget to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and as often as possible. This video was a
Okay, my dear cadets. Our today's topic is cell chemistry, chapter 3. Main subtopic is protein. At the end of this class, you should be able to learn to explain the chemical components of living body, to describe the classification of protein, to describe the role of protein in our nature. Now, some important keywords. Amino acid, protein, simple protein like albumin, globulin, histones, protamines, prolamines. Now, conjugated protein like glycoprotein, lipoprotein, flavoprotein, metalloprotein, derived protein like peptides and protease. Now, my dear guys, introduction of protein. There are many organic chemical substances present in the cell like carbohydrate, amino acid, protein, lipid, enzyme, nucleic acid, organic acid, alkaloids, aldehyde, as many as 16 elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, ferrum, sodium, chlorine, manganese, boron, sulfur, copper, zinc, united together to form above biochemical compounds. The organic acid, which contains at least one carboxyl group and one amino group, or in other words, one or more than one hydrogen molecule of an organic acid is replaced by an amino group, is known as amino acid. like glycine, alanine. Amino acid is the structural unit of proteins. There are at least 28 amino acids. Of them, 20 take part to form different types of protein. Dear cadets, now this is the structure of simple amino acid. Here, R is the simple hydrogen molecule or a complex organic group. Formation of protein is the main function of amino acids. The carboxyl group that attached to the carbon molecule is called alpha carbon. Now, protein and non-protein amino acid. Firstly, protein amino acid. The amino acid which forms protein is called protein amino acids, like glycine, alanine, valine, and now the amino acid which does not take part to form protein is known as non-protein amino acid. Ornithine, citrulline, homocysteine, etc. are the example of non-protein amino acid. Now, my dear friends, what is protein? Protein is a polymer of amino acids. In 1839, scientist Malvar proposed the name protein. It is taken from the Greek word proteus. Proteus means important substance. Here, carboxyl group of one amino acid joined together with an amino group of another amino acid by bond formation. The bond formed in between the two amino acids is known as peptide bond. Some monomer united together to form polymer. About 20 amino acids acts as a monomer. Now, the definition of protein. A higher molecular weight biochemical compounds composed of so many amino acids is called protein. On the other hand, a polymer of 100 to 400 amino acids formed by a chain of peptide bonds is called protein. This is the structural formation of protein. Now, types of bond. The bond in between two amino acids is called dipeptide bonds. If there is three, then it is tripeptide, and if more than three, it is called polypeptide bond. Protein is present as structural elements in all elements and plants. It is also present in enzyme, hormone, and antibody. All enzymes are protein, but all proteins are not enzyme. Dear cadets, I repeat, all enzymes are protein, but all proteins are not enzyme. Now, properties of protein. It is colloidal in nature. It is soluble in water, dilute acid, alkali, and salt solution. On hydrolysis, it breaks into amino acids. Number four, the nature of protein may be changed by various physical and chemical process. Now, classification of protein. Types of proteins on the basis of essential amino acids. One is first class protein or complete protein, and another is second class protein. Firstly, first class protein or complete protein. The proteins in which all essential amino acids are present is called first class protein or complete protein. Meat, fish, eggs, and meals. Generally, all animals' proteins are first class protein. On the other hand, a limited plants group like groundnut, soybean, maize, seeds contains first class protein. Now, second class protein. The proteins in which some of the essential amino acids are absent is called second class protein, except a few like maize, groundnut, soybean. All plants' protein are second class protein. Dear cadets, proteins are again classified into three groups on the basis of composition. Firstly, simple protein. Secondly, conjugated protein. And lastly, derived proteins. Now, simple protein. Simple protein are those on hydrolysis by enzymes or acids. Only amino acids are found is known as simple protein. There are six types of simple protein on the basis of solubility. Number one, albumin. These proteins are soluble in water and dilute salt solution. These coagulate by heat. It is present in the milk, white part of eggs, and in barley. Its atomic weight is 45,000 to 65,000. Second, globulin. These are insoluble in water but soluble in dilute salt solution. These also coagulate by heat. These proteins are present in the seeds. Number three, glutenins. These are insoluble in water but soluble in dilute acid and alkali. Glutenin of wheat, originin of rice are this type of protein. Number four, histone protein. These are soluble in water. Mostly they are found in the nucleus and nucleic acid, like lysine. Number five, protamins. These are the soluble in water and rich in basic amino acid. They are found in nucleus and nucleic acid. Arginine is the best example of protamins. Its atomic weight is 5,000. Now, protamins. These are insoluble in water but soluble in 60 to 70% ethanol, it means ethyl alcohol. Hydrogen in barley, gene of corn, gliadin of wheat are found in the endosperm of these crops. Now, lastly, scleroproteins. These are insoluble in water and mild salt solution. They are found in large quantity in bone, hair, nail, skin, and connective tissue. Now, my dear carrots, conjugated protein. The protein in which non-protein parts in the prosthetic group is other than amino acid is called conjugated protein. There are five types. Number one, nucleoprotein. The protein which is composed of amino acid and nucleic acid is known as nucleoprotein. Number two, glycoprotein. The protein which is composed of amino acid and carbohydrates is called glycoprotein. It is also known as glycomucoprotein. Number three, lipoproteins. These proteins which are composed with lipid and protein is called lipoprotein. Structural materials of all membranes of organelles like plastid mitochondria is the called lipoproteins. Now, chromoproteins. When the prosthetic group of a protein is composed of pigments is known as chromoproteins like flavoprotein, bilirubin, carotid protein, hemoglobin protein, etc. Now, metal protein. When the prosthetic group of a protein is metal, like copper, manganese, iron, is called metal proteins. Now, phosphoprotein. The protein which is composed with simple protein with phosphoric acid, like casein in milk, vitelline in egg, etc. Now, lastly, flavoprotein. The protein is composed with flavin compound like flavin and dinucleotides is called flavoprotein. Next, lastly, derived proteins. These proteins are not found in naturally. The protein produced from the natural proteins by the action of enzymes, acid, alkalis, or heat is called derived protein. Peptides, protease, mucin, almas is the example of derived proteins. Now, my dear cadets, function of protein. Protein acts as a structural unit of membrane and organ. It regulates the growth of a body. It produces an necessary hormone for body like insulin, somatotropin, leukotrophins, etc. It regulates the various metabolic activities of a cell. Number four, it regulates the biochemical reactions of the cell in the form of enzyme. Number five, proteins acts as receiver food in a body. From 1 gram of protein, 4.1 kilocalorie energy is produced. Number six, it acts as a antibody against disease of a living body. Number six. Number seven, interferon protein is now expected to be used against cancer and viral disease. This protein is automatically synthesized during attacks of some virus in the body. Lastly, some proteins are toxic in nature, which may cause death or injury of other animals. Snake's venom is the example of this protein. Dear cadets, no more today. Thank you, my dear cadets, for attending my online class. If you have any question and query on my class, you can clarify it having online session with me at the period of your scheduled classes. Thank you for patient hearing and viewing. At last, stay on home because we are passing critical and crucial moment and maybe the second wave, I think maybe the second wave of COVID-19 is knocking at the door. Take healthy food, take necessary rest, take fresh drinking water, wash your both hands with soap frequently. Don't go outside here and there. Please don't go outside here and there. Pray to Almighty Allah 5 times so that we all are overcome this crucial situation. May Almighty Allah bless us all. Thank you once again. Your next class is again Cell Chemistry, Chapter 3.